What's up everyone, welcome back to the ATM Show. I don't know what day or week number of quarantine we're in. I don't even know what day today is, but I'm so ready for things to get back to normal, at least somewhat normal. Things will for sure be different, but at least we'll get to be around the people that we love. I miss my friends, I haven't seen a lot of my family, and I just can't wait to be around them again. We're starting to see a shift in state policies allowing for some businesses to reopen, and hopefully within the next month we'll be able to see local businesses reopen and build our local economies back up. In last week's episode, I went over the initial impacts of coronavirus on our local housing market, and some of the numbers were a bit odd. The April numbers are finally in for our local housing market of La Crescenta, Montrose in the area of Glendale, and it's pretty much exactly what we expected to see. Coronavirus took a strong jab at our local housing market last month. On a national level, we were seeing home price growth slow down and fewer homes for sale. According to the complete data sets, it does look like our local housing market has begun to follow a similar trend. But surprisingly, there are bits of good news in the data. Looking at price first in the month of April, we see a 1.9% decrease in the average list price versus the previous month. And for average sales price, we see a decrease of 11.8% versus the previous month and a 6% decrease year over year. The La Crescenta Montrose housing market prior to the coronavirus pandemic was about to enter the spring market, and it was starting to heat up really fast for the year. We saw an average sold price per square foot of $672 in April. Shockingly, that's up 14.9% versus the previous month and a whopping 37.1% versus April of last year. That's the highest average sold price per square foot I've seen in the last 2 years in La Crescenta Montrose. Looking at average days on market, we see a solid decrease of 7.9% versus March and 36.4% down from last year. Homes in La Crescenta Montrose sold for 3% over their list price in April. That's down 1% from March, but up 4% from April of last year. We see some of this data showing growth, some showing stability, and definitely some showing the negative effects of coronavirus. Much like the rest of the nation, we are seeing the number of homes for sale, the number of homes sold, and the number of transactions pending take a sharp dip in the month of April. We see a 6.1% decrease in the number of homes for sale versus the previous month and 35.4% down from last year. The number of homes sold decreased 22.2% versus the previous month and significantly down 44% versus April of last year. We also see pending sales down 26.7% versus March and down a staggering 65.6% versus April of last year. In April, we see months of inventory increase 21.8% versus March and 15.6% versus April of last year. The sharp increase in months of inventory may be explained by the huge shifts in the number of buyers and sellers in the housing market. Although many buyers dropped out of the market until the health crisis passes, there are still a significant amount of buyers trying to take advantage of the current dip in home prices. There have been less sellers that have left the market than buyers that have left the market, thus the sharp increase in months of inventory. So now that we've taken a look at all this data from the month of April, how do we make sense of all of it? The data is really all over the place. Less homes are for sale, less homes are being sold, homes are selling for less on average, but at the same time, they're selling for record prices per square foot and months of inventory are increasing. It's a really strange situation and even stranger numbers. Like everything else during this whole coronavirus pandemic, we need to take the data with a grain of salt and look at the current public policies that are taking place because it's a constantly evolving situation. In the real estate industry, we're seeing more buyers re-enter the market every week. Sellers are beginning to re-enter the market as well. Many sellers that put their listings on hold from the end of March through April are beginning to prepare their homes for sale now if they haven't already done so. Like I mentioned earlier, in LA County, many businesses are beginning to reopen with adjusted operating policies. Some people are finally able to return to work, and we should be seeing a gradual increase in the number of people in the workforce in the next few weeks. Although we may see some signs of normalcy in the next few months, there will still be a lot of our workforce remaining unemployed. Many homebuyers will return to the market soon, but due to the vast amount of people unemployed, many of the buyers won't be able to return to the market for quite some time, possibly until the end of the year. So now is it the time for fire sales? Absolutely not. The buyers that do re-enter the market are very serious buyers. There still aren't that many homes for sale, and we're definitely not going to see a shift to a buyer's market. The sellers still rule because there are so few selling their homes. Homes are selling for record prices per square foot, and it would be a great opportunity for sellers to time their listings with the influx of home buyers returning to the market. It's a really strange time, but it's important to remain optimistic. We are resilient and innovative. All property showings are done privately, extremely cautiously, and with the highest priority to sanitation. This new normal still allows us to effectively serve our clients in buying and selling property. In the grand scheme of things, it's a really minor adjustment to how we deliver on our services. With some businesses reopening, shelter-in-place orders softening, and buyers and sellers returning to the market, we should see May's data return to more stable numbers. I'll post another local housing market update once we have complete data sets for May. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share it with a friend. And until next time, ATM out.